Hello everyone and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah and I'm really excited you're here today for this video about things that I have stopped buying, the food edition. Now I have made a couple videos about certain things that I've stopped buying and I'll put a playlist to them up there so you can check them out if you're interested. But I wanted to talk about the food side of things, which I think is definitely just as important. With foods in general, it's not something we're just buying once, but things that sometimes we purchase over time, and those can also add up, and I think we can take a more minimalist perspective with our food. So let's get into it. Here are the 5 foods that I have stopped buying. Number 1, I've stopped buying foods that I can't finish before they go bad. I don't know if this has happened to you, but for me, there's definitely been occasions where I am buying something because I have a recipe idea of what I want to do with it, or I just feel like I should because it's healthy. Those kind of situations happen, and the sad truth, unfortunately, is that there's times I don't get around to eating these foods, and over time I've noticed there are certain types of foods that do that. For example, for me, buying mushrooms at the store, I might think I have some fun recipe ideas. I don't want to admit how many times that I've had to discard slimy mushrooms that I let sit in the fridge too long. I want to get more into cooking potatoes, like baked potatoes, etc. And sadly, there's been times too where we've just had the potatoes that go bad, especially since they often are much more affordable in a large bag. You know, they sell like a 10-pound bag. We just can't go through that many in the time that they're still fresh. So for me, those are just a couple examples of foods that I purchase, and over time, I just haven't been able to consume them in time. So those are things that I've essentially stopped buying, or if I know I'm gonna be buying some of these things for sure and using them that day, that's different, I'll still buy them. But as a whole, I'm being very careful of things that I know that I don't have the best track record of. My second tip for things that I no longer buy, the food edition, in general, foods that make me feel terrible. Now, there's a lot of delicious products on the market, I will definitely agree to that, but how many times, maybe have you been there, I know I've been there, where you eat something and maybe you eat a lot of something and then you feel terrible after? I've been there. That happens still sometimes, even under a vegan diet. And it's really important to just think about the way that foods make us feel and knowing, is that taste, that temporary taste, worth it for how you feel afterwards? Or is the taste of all of these things worth it? Now, I totally think moderation is great, and I myself have a big sweet tooth. I think I've talked about that a little bit on the channel already. So I'm not saying give up these tasty items forever, but if you know that if you buy something, you're gonna eat maybe all of them or too much of it and you're not gonna feel good, maybe that's something to think about. So for me, I personally don't really buy chips anymore. There was this one brand of kettle chips that I loved and would be able to eat like half the family size bag and then feel disgusting for the rest of the day. I'm never buying those again, even though they were delicious. Same thing, like even junk foods like Oreos, technically I can eat them, they're vegan, at least in the US, but I know that I don't have good self-control and I might eat way too many and then not feel good. It's not worth not feeling good. We deserve more, we deserve to nourish our bodies. And again, have a little bit, try to exhibit some portion control, share with others so you're not eating as much of it, but just try to avoid these foods that make you feel terrible. Next up, another thing that I've stopped buying are foods with tons of sugar. Specifically, I'm talking about like the fruit candies. If there are, let's say around Easter time, I got some vegan jelly beans and ate them all pretty fast, or whether it was like vegan gummy worms, like some of that unhealthy stuff that's pretty much sugar is like the first 3 ingredients, like different types of sugar. And I've noticed that I would break out quite a bit after eating them. And I can honestly, like, especially as I've gotten older and can understand acne better and skin better, I've definitely seen that when I eat a lot of sugar, it shows up on my face, in addition to the other negative health effects. And I know myself now, I just really, I don't buy those anymore, partially because I don't want that to happen, and I've seen the clear link between the two. So trying to watch out for those foods that are really high in sugar. This one isn't new for me, but I have stopped buying brand name items. With the store brand items that I've purchased, I have not seen a noticeable difference in most products that I can think of. Typically, I will go for the store brand if there's multiple options available. There is a noticeable price difference when you're comparing a name brand item to a store brand item, and so that is a way that you can really save a ton of money And this can be easily incorporated into your daily life and last for a long time because you're not actually cutting out any specific foods or very few foods. Instead, you're just buying the store brand version of it. And then my final tip here for things that I've stopped buying, the food edition, has to do with things on sale, clarification, that I would not be buying otherwise. Just like with different household items or clothing, there are different deals that happen to encourage us to buy the product. The deals themselves aren't inherently bad, but when we're motivated to buy a product because of the deal, even though we don't need or even want the product, just because we want the deal, that is not a good deal. It can be very tempting when you see certain things advertised in supermarkets and grocery stores, or even if you get coupons for particular items. But if you don't need the item, don't buy it. That's just kind of as simple as that, because what happens if you don't need the item or don't use the item? It just builds up. Chances are maybe it sits around in the pantry or the fridge, and how many times does that item end up getting wasted? Or you eat it and then it wasn't really what you thought it would be? I don't know. I think it depends. Obviously, if it's something that you really like and it's a thing you use all the time, awesome. Like, yes, yay for the deal. I'm all about saving money and the deals. But it's only a deal if you actually want the product or actually use the item. So keep that in mind. Deals can be great, but just watch out for them, since it is, at the end of the day, a marketing technique and trying to get you to buy more, right? That's why they have deals in the first place. Those are 5 things that I've stopped buying. The food edition. What are some of the foods that you have no longer been buying? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you are new here and enjoy videos related to minimalism or healthy eating, we'd love to have you as a subscriber, so you can check that out as well. You can click my face here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!